Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Now the sky is hung with regret. Letting go that you may flag. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the one that you created. The one that you hated. Mother Baker said, bury your secrets. And your gold and souls of black.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
But I can't hear you.
All right, let me go back and rechange.
Let me see if I can fix this.
Let me,
As soon as the show started,
yeah.
it goes out on my end.
Oh, the audio goes on your. Yeah, mine's actually working. I'm
Hear you.
yakking and it's all good.
I
And
have some new equipment, guys. I am sorry. It's so unprofessional. But
we're
it's not our fault. It's the
yeah,
platform.
it's a platform. It's blame technology. It's all good. Okay, so Father Rex can hear me. Good. Let's see. Okay, actually, Father Rex can hear both of us. So that's a good sign. Now I know sign language, so maybe I can they can hear all of us. A little rusty. So all right, Aaron can hear us all. Jason's already coming out of the gate on me on Beast Wars. I can't hear Eric. Oh, I can kind of hear you. I can hear you sound a little muffled. On your end there. So I tell you what, I guess while Eric's trying to figure out what's going on here, just to kind of have a little bit of fun here with Jason's comment on the Beast Wars. And this will probably talk into probably some of the things we're going to talk about today while he's getting ready. I don't know if he can.
How about now?
There you are. We can hear you. Okay.
I figured it out. Oh my God, dude. Talk about a pain in the butt. You got to go turn down the volume and turn up the volume in like 4 different places just to make this
You got
work.
to turn down for what?
Which one is
Sorry, I had to do a 90s song.
Okay. Well, guys, thankfully, we are here. We've been planning this show for a minute. If you got some questions, comments, please put them down there. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but I want to say a big hello to the Instagram audience right now. They're testing out some equipment over on that platform so that we can bring our show over there. And I'll be honest with you, dude, that's where most of these dads that are getting screwed over have went over to.
Sorry, we're having fun now.
Oh no!
No, it was just pretending. It wasn't legit. Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh, dude! Come on. Anyway, so a lot's been going on in the past month. We've been seeing this stuff going on with Bud Light and Target.
Oh yeah.
There was something that came up in the past few days, dads, that I wanted to bring up to you. As me and Dwayne have talked about several times, being fellow nerds ourselves, you know, sometimes the real world gets very stressful and we have ways of decompressing. We all have our, hobbies.
Hobbies, yep.
For years, mine has been going to the fantasy world of video games.
Yep.
I like to kill zombies on Call of Duty. And
Yep.
It broke my heart yesterday to see what's going on. It looks like Activision, who has now been bought out by Microsoft, is one of the new ones pushing some of this stuff with little kids. Dwayne, you've got to see the article a little bit. Tell us what's going on with that.
All right, so very popular Twitter guy, YouTuber, gamer dude that's big into Call of Duty. I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head. I'm sure it will come to me. But he's got like over 6 million followers on, I think, one platform alone. So he's pretty big. And huge into the Call of Duty world. Even had a skin for the non-nerds out there. A skin is when you go into the game, you can buy a skin that would make you look like this person or some variation of it. Anyway, very successful, good relationship with Call of Duty. And the other day, earlier this week, there was something going on. It was separate from the whole Call of Duty stuff, but there was a pride parade and some issues went down there, as we could expect. And he made one comment, very innocuous. Is that even a word? I'm trying to go above my education here. It was a very, not even like hateful or whatever. It was just like, hey, leave the little kids alone. That's all we're asking here. And within a day, he was removed from the platform. His skins were removed from the store, and he has been canceled, just gone. And it's actually getting some backlash now from the folks that subscribe to the other ideas and ideologies and stuff. And I'm trying to use my words carefully because we're on platforms that don't like us talking about this stuff. So it's like I've got to use all these other words and use analogies and hope to God there. G-D that people can understand kind of what I'm saying. But there's been some backlash on that. People are kind of doing what Eric and I are doing, which is not playing Call of Duty anymore.
Well,
do it.
I mean, literally, the only thing he said was, they need to stop pushing this on little children. That's where the problem is.
Yeah.
And then they went and completely banned this guy. And that just shows you how powerful the narrative is when they would do something like that. I mean, he had the skins. And for anybody that doesn't play video games, let us fill you in. Skins are like where you can buy skins for your guns or your outfits and these different things to show your fandom for whatever player that is. They had to be making a lot of money off of that. I mean, Fortnite is a free game. It makes all of its money off of skins and dances. But just since this guy expresses his opinion, that was enough to do what we're seeing now.
Canceled. Yeah, his exact quote was, and this was in relation to this attack and blah, blah, happening, they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. That was it. That was beginning and end of his comment.
Dude, check it out. Love for Country US said, had to move from the Instagram live to hear much better. Dude, I have messed around with it right now. All you can see is my sideburns and your headphones. So we're going to have to get over there on Instagram. Yeah. We're going to mess around with it. And I want to make sure when we go to the platform that we got something to be proud of. I'm sorry, guys. I am so sorry. Maybe we can go. It's set up for cell phones, Yeah. I don't know why they haven't made this for content creators yet, but hopefully someday soon they will. And it's getting there. It's getting there. We're on there.
Slow but sure,
yeah.
Slow but sure. Well, all the more reason to get on Substack. Of course, YouTube and Facebook, but really the Substack. If you're not, for the folks that are on that aren't, if you're not a member of the Dad Talk Today Substack, go out there. I don't know if we can throw the link out there before something else technical happens, but get on there. That's an area where Eric can talk freely about anything he wants to. He's not going to have to use code and everything else. He can say what needs to be said.
So I woke up about 5 o'clock this morning. I had read about some of this stuff before I went to sleep. And dude, for the life of me, I was tired, but I could not go back to sleep because I was just sitting there churning my head on some of the things that are going on. And I'm like, dude, I just want to go out there and scream it to the rooftops and say, this is what they're trying to do with kids right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, I know with what we've got, you have to ride a very thin line.
Oh, yeah.
The Call of Duty thing, guys, was just one of the things I wanted to show you. But I want to, and I'm going to read from the article so they can't say that I've said anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what that looks like on there. I'll put this over here in the corner.
There we go. Putting baby in a corner.
Yep. California bill would punish parents who don't affirm their child's gender identity. A newly revised California bill would treat parents' refusal to affirm their child's gender identity as a violation of health, safety, and welfare in the context of custody disputes. The bill has already passed the state assembly, would require judges adjudicating such disputes over transgender identifying children to favor the parent who affirms the child's preferred identity. Earlier this week, the authors released an updated version that specifically defines the health, safety, and welfare of a child to include a parent's affirmation of the child's gender identity. A change that the bill's opponents worry will open the door to non-affirmation being treated as abuse. I would say, Dwayne, that is a very real concern.
I'd say it's too late here in Texas. Jeff Younger. Case closed.
And here's my thing, like Texas could have done this a long time ago.
Oh,
They had
God.
the first worldwide case. Texas really had the opportunity to do it. And we see what's going on with Paxton and Dade Phelan. Your legislation down there is just a mess.
A joke.
There's nobody in there. I'm not going to say nobody, but you don't really have anybody you can trust down there. But they
No.
could have done something about this a long time ago. Now we're seeing other states starting to follow suit.
Mhm.
But when you get states like Colorado and California passing laws like this, all that does is make them go somewhere else where the rules are even more strict. And look, Dwayne, I have yet to find a father come to or a mother come to me saying, my ex is trying to gender transition my kid. I have never seen a father doing that
Yeah.
over a mother. We're seeing it with the single mothers that are doing this to dads. And I will tell you guys, when Jeff Younger started talking about his case, that was a very unusual case. We didn't hear about that much.
It was eye-opening.
Those times are gone. This
Yeah.
is a huge thing that's going on right now. And there might be some people that don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's a huge deal. I think it is a very huge deal. When you look at the self-deletion rates and they say, well, if you don't do this, that's why the rates are that way. Well, for the people that are going through with this affirmation care, the rates don't change, Dwayne.
No, they actually get a little bit worse.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing with this is, the same thing with, in the 80s and the 90s when people were coming out, they said, oh, it'll make things better. It didn't. It actually made it worse. The same thing's going to happen with this. And there's so many people that regret doing it. I mean, actually, you interviewed a person that went through it and regretted it. I guess let's leave it at that. And I think that's going to be in your documentary.
Oh, yeah. So that was one of the people, I didn't know it. He was one of the ones that helped break the Younger case. His name is Walt Heyer, Heyer. If you want to go check out his story, it's actually pretty amazing. He's 82 years old now, but he went through gender dysphoria. But it's interesting to hear how he ended up going through this. When he was a very young kid, his grandma made dresses. That's what she did for a living. One day he told his grandma he thought the dress was cute. So she told him, he was a girl. Well, as he was growing up, he ended up going through a case of molestation. All right.
Yeah.
He got older. He was a successful businessman, doing really well, married and everything. And he goes to a doctor and the doctor tells him he has dysphoria and he needs surgery. This is in the 80s. He did it. It happened for like 5 years and he ended up calling himself like Laura Jenkins, I believe his name was. And he said he was the most miserable he had ever been. And he went and he sued that doctor because they didn't tell him about any of the effects or anything. It really messed him up.
People that are so pro this, you need to go out and read and learn about like the people that go through it. Like read their stories in their journals about when they go through it, what actually happens. I won't spoil it, but let's just say it's going to be really bad. And it's not scare tactics. I mean, these are people that were 100%. I cannot wait to transition. I cannot wait to make the change and everything. And then you see and hear their story right after they get it done, and they are they are in pain, and they go to their doctor saying, "Hell, I'm on level 20 pain, 10's the max. Give me something." They're like, "No," because they already got their money. They already did what they needed to do. These people aren't getting it.
So every one of us parents here, whether mother or fathers, because I know we got some fierce father's rights ladies in here as well. But if you got kids, one day we're looking forward to being grandparents. I don't want to rush that day anytime soon, but I'm sure when it happens, I will be very proud grandfather and love my grandkids. Now, think about this. If your kids are going through this, why does it matter? If they go through that, they're sterilized.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance you're going to be sterilized. There's no undoing that.
Oh, no.
Their hunger for sex is diminished. It's going against. Oh, dude. Can we go to Substack? I'm not going to sleep you guys again, but these are very real consequences. I want to have grandbabies.
I would love to have grandkids. I deserve it.
When it's time.
Well, my kid, 22, 19, and 17. Of course, the other two, get up there, get successful, of course. But with what's happened to dads, I'm scared for my boys, especially, to have kids on what could happen to them. That's why I've told them, as much as my dream is to have grandkids, I can't do it. I can't tell them to have them.
The problem with this is even here, we're not scared. But we know there's consequences for standing up for certain things.
Oh, yeah.
And so does the world. That's what the cancel culture does. And what it has done is it has forced people into silence. Your silence, guys, is what they want.
Oh,
you
yeah.
understand that, right? The more that you stay silent, the more this thing continues to grow and has no opposition, and it becomes the norm. Look at it. It is literally shoved down your throat. The one place that I had an escape, video games, Dwayne. Now they're coming for my zombies.
Dude, I went to go see Transformers Beast Wars. I almost wanted to come back and sell all my stuff. And I'm not, this is not even a joke, not even a whatever. I wanted to get up about 15 minutes into that movie and walk out. I think everybody knows here I'm a Transformers nerd. I was so stoked about that movie, and I was disgusted through the entire thing, and I wanted to walk out.
I mean, out of all of them, should you really be surprised about something called Transformers?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick on you for being a Transformers fan. So you should have stuck with Ninja Turtles.
Did you see what's coming out for your little brand of love?
Don't do that to me.
If you want to go there, we were sitting waiting and the trailers were kicking up, and I'm watching this. I'm like, oh, poor Eric. Because if anybody knows, he loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was his generation. Loved it, everything about it. And what they have done, oh my God. But you know what? We're being told. I was told that the Transformers movie was not for my generation. They don't want my input. They don't want anything from my generation. And I should just let go of all the nostalgia of Transformers. And I'm like, sounds a lot like Bud Light, doesn't it?
It's the companies that's doing it. And we know that.
Yeah.
We know, I think there's more conversation around it with the funding. And look, dude, here's one thing that I think is very important for our audience, because it's hard to talk about these topics sometimes because of our political climate.
Yeah. Oh,
There
God.
are
Yeah.
issues on one side or on this side. So if you start talking or criticizing this side a little bit too much, the people on this side start hating on you for making a point. And it's like, we have taken these issues and just parted the sea and said, you got to stand for all these to be on the left. You got to stand for all these to be on the right. Guys, there is wrong on both sides, and we need to be pointing it out. Okay.
It's the same chicken. It's the exact same chicken, the left wing or the right wing.
Dude, talking about this funding that they're getting, one guy that he's loved and he's hated by many, but Matt Walsh has done a really good job. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't agree with everything Matt says. I don't.
Yeah.
He made a post not long ago about how Karen was a racial slur against white women. And I was like, no, it's not. Have you, dude? We all know a Karen, and I don't care. There's no races that are,
Karen don't know color.
No, Karen's got no color.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, the way that he has brought this conversation to the masses, and he has done it like without any intimidation, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say. And I believe we are, again, starting to see a culture shift. You saw a behemoth that was known as Anheuser-Busch. It's no longer the best-selling beer, and it just keeps going down. I want to present something to you guys. We've always said we might not have the money to go do these big protests and other stuff, but we buy products every single day that puts back into these bastards. You know? How about Call of Duty? How many of our dads are playing Call of Duty? I mean, might not seem like a big deal. I'm not going to do that, just because of this. Are you sure? It's a part of the problem. I can guarantee you right now, Anheuser-Busch, Target, Disney, these companies are starting to pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
And if we took that kind of approach with the family courts, that's something that's never really been done before.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Because, I mean, if men and the women supporting us, because they'll argue it and say, what about women? But if the men and the women got together and started standing up for their beliefs instead of just bowing down, this would be over in a month or two.
It would.
It would be. I mean, look at Bud Light. Look at Target. Easy. Yeah, easy.
The one place that you hurt these people is with the pocketbook.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned about politics, dude, you could go from now until the next 100 years. You could go to every conference. You could talk to every single one of them. Dude, it's all about money. The only thing that really makes them perk up and listen to what's going on. So how do we take money out of that system? That's the hard part. We've heard the people say, stop paying child support, stop hiring attorneys and all this. And I understand that sentiment. We also know the consequences of doing that, right?
Right. Jail.
I think there's an answer in there somewhere. But if you could start in one little place and put your attention towards that, take that money away.
Yeah.
What would that do, man?
Yeah. I mean, stop buying into products and services that are directly going against your value system. It's
Great
that
question.
easy.
I would love to hear from the audience. All of you participate, please.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you because we're all trying to figure this out together. There's nobody on this screen saying we have all the answers. Listen to us. Here's your answers. We are all trying to figure it out together, but collectively as dads, we are millions. We can have an impact like you're seeing with these other things. So let's brainstorm together. That's what I would like to do. Lauren Cody Jackson said, how do you hurt the courts? I know one way. And let's just get into this because this is something that needs to be talked about. I know one way, but it even intimidates me as much as I talk about family law. A lot of you guys need to start going pro se and stop hiring these bum ass attorneys.
Yeah.
If you can educate yourself with the knowledge to go in there and represent yourself, it's still going to be biased whether you've got an attorney or not. Learn the process. Go to people like Father X that's there on the chat right now, and he's showing you ways to do this pro se. If you want to go through the courts, and that's the step that you're going to take, find out a way to do it pro se and starve these damn attorneys. Yeah. That's what needs to happen. That's one way. That's the first thing off the top of my head. What's some other ways, Dwayne?
Well, I mean, the pro se way, as far as in the court system, is don't, buy into it. I mean, obviously, probably for most of it's too late. The whole don't get married, don't have children. I mean, going pro se is the way to go.
I get it. It's true.
And the thing is, men are finally listening to that. You look at the data and the statistics, and it shows that men in those age demographics they're not getting married, they're not getting into relationships. We're hopefully no longer playing Call of Duty anymore instead. But they're staying out, they're staying away because they're learning. They've watched it. Is stay out of relationships. It sucks. It's a bad situation to not be in a relationship because, we are really meant to be with our compatible other person. But when there's so much damage that can be done at the drop of a hat and you don't know when it will happen, you just got to not play that part of the game. But, I mean, going pro se is the way. You could, I'd say a weekend, learn enough as much as these attorneys and be able to beat them at their own game in a weekend. The average intelligence.
The guys that actually dedicate themselves to learning that, a lot of the ones that I've talked to, they would wipe the floor with any of the attorneys I've met.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've got the interest to do the best they can in their own case. Right? Why you got this other guy that you're paying, hundreds of dollars per hour that just keeps that conflict going, and you can't even get them on the damn telephone. That seems to be one of the number one things that I see from these people paying these high-priced attorneys. I can't even get them on the telephone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, pro se, as far as if you're in the court system, that is the way to go. Now you need to educate yourself. That's my other big issue is getting educated because there's every state has their own how to file yourself, all the forms, all that. You do some basic work there, and you've got 85% of. Hey, thank you, Benjamin. You got 85% of what you need in order to beat these guys, or at least delay it and run the other party out of money. I mean, you can't control what the other person does, but you can control how you respond to it. And we know of a million cases off the top of my head that the person went pro se and then ran the ex out of money, and then they were able to solve their issues because that attorney wasn't causing problems. It's going to take you spending some time learning this system, and it doesn't take that much time, and then using it to beat it and get the best deal and move on, and of course educate others and get involved and do that type of stuff. But yet the cult, and a lot of this is culture war. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. It's culture war. You wonder why, and again, it's 85-90% of the time it's women that are filing for divorce. I mean, that's data. That's not opinion. But they, how they think they can get away with it is the culture wars. We have got to change the culture war. Get out of the culture war. Quit spending money.
Well, so that's my thing. We always got a caveat, because if we give something, they'll be like, oh, well, that's not going to work because of this. Look, dude, none of this that we're saying right now is fail safe by no means. Going pro se, it's going to have its challenges. If you want to go through the system at all, you could have the highest priced attorney, whatever. If you get the wrong judge, if you get a person that's got a attorney that's feeding money into that campaign, it doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes you are going to get screwed. So for the guys that are going to do it, what we're saying is, instead of going and throwing all that money, if you got the time and you can dedicate it, go and take up for yourself. Dwayne Robert did put something really good down there. He said he couldn't have went pro se because one of the things you got to learn if you're going to go pro se is to keep your emotions out of it.
Oh,
now,
God,
when you got somebody that's sitting there and they're making these false allegations and just throwing these little sharp knives at you, dude, these little stabs, things from the past, from when you was a kid that doesn't even have anything to do with how much you love your kids and who you are now. You've got to learn to detach yourself from that. That's not always the easy thing to do. But yes, there is a bias in court. So just because you do that doesn't mean you're going to get good results. And I've seen some guys that when they went pro se, I got to be honest with you, Dwayne, I've sat in some of the court cases. It hurt. It hurt. They thought they was just going to go pro se, and dude, it cost them more money in the long run.
Oh yeah, you gotta prepare and have a clue to do this. This is not, I'm going pro se. You fill out a form and you're done. You've got to learn some things, and to what I don't know, the guys of yesteryear used to do. We used to be DIY guys. We would go in, figure out the issue, and so we used to be problem solvers. I mean, that's what hurts. I mean, we have been wussified so bad over the decades. We've got to, we used to be the DIY people. If something broke, we fix it. We learn how to do it. We get a book. We have the internet now. We learn how to fight the system, and then we fix it. We go in there and mitigate the damages. I mean, if you hire a higher price attorney and they're both golf buddies, they're going to do their thing and run you out of money. At the very least, go pro se, learn the stuff, fight, keep some of your money in your back pocket, and get the best deal you can. I mean, that's what a lot of this is. You're not going to come out clean. I mean, we're not there yet.
You ready for a promo for the Substack? Again, guys, you don't have money to go to the Capitol. You don't have money to do all this lobbying efforts and stuff like that. But again, we can all show up here. Dwayne's mentioning the internet. The internet is one of the biggest gifts that we've ever been given, and we can organize there. Go into these platforms where if you say that which needs to be said, you are going to get silenced or you're going to lose that platform altogether. If we continue to organize like that, guys, we're going to get what we've always gotten. And I'm going to tell you, that hasn't gotten us very far. We need to be able to say, especially when talking about the 2 articles that we brought up earlier, especially when talking about situations like Jeff Younger, because there's certain things, again, we want to say, but you just have to sit there and bite that tongue.
Yeah.
And imagine watching our kids go through this and saying, I can't speak because I know the consequences. I know the consequences of not speaking. And that's why I refuse to be shut up, dude. We'll just go somewhere else. And I hope you guys will get there. But let's get back to the brainstorming. I'm sure we'll go on many more tangents today. Heroes on YouTube said, let's get rid of child support. It's such a scam. We should also make it easier to get custody. That there's the other thing.
It must be new.
Equal shared parenting, since I've been here, has been like the number one fight that people want. I understand it. It's needed. If you do not change the culture, equal shared parenting is going to do jack, dude.
Yep.
That is not to poo-poo on anybody's efforts. I've said that numerous times. If they can still make an allegation against you, if that silver bullet can still go through, but we put it in clear and convincing evidence, bullshit. Let that silver bullet come at you with that equal shared parenting bill and see if that allegation doesn't hold just as true and as effective as it did without that legislation.
Right.
We can do them in tandem, but until you start fighting against that culture and those false allegations, dude, it's weird how every time you go to a different platform, you meet new characters and see different parts of the narrative. I don't know if it's because Facebook groups you with like people or whatever. You know, we've been in a lot more action over on Twitter and just seeing the amount of people that just literally hate fathers. They think all fathers. They literally hate, they despise fathers. All fathers are deadbeats, they're sperm donors, and they did not like it. This guy kept telling me about how his daughter's ex was nothing but a sperm donor, and he was convicted of all these different crimes and stuff in the past. And I was like, you know, what does that say about your daughter for wanting to be with that type of person? And if he's the sperm donor, what's that make her? The collector? You know? And that might seem harsh. That might seem harsh, but it's fighting back. It's like we're taking all the responsibility off of her and just putting it on the man. Now, he could have been all those things, but if she knew,
why should she sleep with him?
I mean, like, how many of these women, after they go through a divorce, will get with that guy that's got that criminal past knowingly and expect to have something? I don't get it, dude. I don't.
I've spent way too much time thinking that. It's like, yeah, these girls talk about these guys being pieces of trash, and they may be. Why'd you sleep with them? Why? I mean, are you that dense to where you're gonna, you know, sleep with a garbage dude? I mean, really? What does that say about you?
Going back to Eros, it goes in lots of different directions.
No.
But talking about this whole child support, getting rid of it completely. They talk about the best interest of the children. If they talked about the needs of the children, that's what would be different. You're going to have cases. Father's overseas. He's in the army. It could be a mother that's overseas. There's going to be exceptions to the case where a child is going to need a little bit of support if you're having to sacrifice time.
Right.
And that sacrificing that time is providing for that child. So it's not that you're absent. Your presence just isn't there. It's a different way of looking at it. But in case that's going on, they should base it upon the needs of the child. Is it so wrong to say this is what they need for food? This is what they need for school. These are the clothes that they're going to need. Why can't we get it listed out? This is what it's going to take care of that child for every month. So somebody's not fudging off the back end and you don't have the government saying, hey, add in our part for Uncle Sam. I mean, I think we can make exceptions to some of these laws and talk, you know, decently with some of them, but they don't come up with anything that makes common sense. You don't talk about changing the system at all. You know,
well, we already have the USDA's numbers for what it takes to raise a child. We've had those numbers for decades, and it gets updated every, I think, 2 years. We have that. No state wants to take it because of the money involved with Title 4D funds and the whole child support scam. That's why we're never going to get rid of child support. It is so embedded and ingrained in the culture, because when you hear women talk about breaking up or whatever, they're always asking how much child support money I can get. How can I live off the government? How can I, you know, screw the guy over? How can I get as much money from him as I can? That's culture. That's the way they think.
Get off of social media, get in the real world, have conversations with people, and just tell them, I think fathers should have equal rights to their kids as moms. Watch the barrier that these people have put up. And there's several different layers, from the deadbeat to the money to you know, best interest is to be with the mom. I mean, there's just all these different layers you have to break through before they can even say, well, you know, fathers do have it, you know, pretty bad in family court. I've heard of some horror stories, but there's some fathers don't need, you know.
Yeah.
You got to fight against that culture, dude. And I think one of the strategies has been for so long, like, let's just not mention fathers. Let's talk about how shared parenting benefits moms and helps them be independent. Bullshit.
Now I just saw Facebook is now laying out ads, and I don't know why they're being structured towards me, because it just pisses me off, but they were saying there's a new free program available to everyone, a free phone and a free tablet, as a free government program. And I see people in the notes or in the comments section, one complained that it wasn't good enough for him, which I find hilarious, but they're like, this is great. This is a great free program. Guys, it's not free. It's paid for by me, Eric, and people that pay our taxes. It's a government program. And then when you become dependent on the government, i.e. through all this free crap, and they tell you to vote a certain way or do a certain thing, guess what? You're going to do it. You're slaves to the government. Tangent.
Slave system. You are, dude. I mean, everything. The narrative is meant to make you go into the courts because once they got their claws on you, it's very hard to get them off.
Oh yeah,
they're going to remain there. So there's another part of it. There is a lot of these guys that are exhausting every resource that they've got, trying to be in their kids' lives, and it's doing them no good. I
know, Substack.
No, I'll be open and honest with it. There are some guys that are having to pull away, and I understand it. But if you pull away and you don't try to change that system, that's where I've got a problem. It's just because you pull away from this battle that you think is just, hitting every dead end doesn't mean you back off altogether. You got to get in here and we got to create change at some point in time, dude. There's got to be an organization. I mean, look at this. We are seeing history right now with that Bud Light and Target thing, dude. I mean, we really are. For the first time ever, it's like we're hitting you in the pocketbook. And it hurts. I guarantee you before they go, you ain't going to see Bud Light put nothing like that on a can again anytime soon.
No.
I don't think
still hanging. Disney's still, they're doubling down.
They are, but it's a funding thing, dude. I mean, eventually I think it's going to hit to the point they're like, okay, we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
I mean, they just fired 7,000 workers. So.
I mean, guys and girls that want to change the culture. You want to change the culture? Stop buying the products and services of these people that hate you. That it's weird that you have to say that out loud. I do. I find it weird that I'm funding an organization that hates me. Why would I do that?
You see, that's what makes it hard for this movement, though, because the companies that need to be boycotted is the attorneys, the law firms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't support them, you don't love your kids.
Oh, that's the first thing they'll tell you.
That's what they want you to think. If you don't do that, you're not fighting for your kids. You don't love your kids. I would do anything to be with my kids. They'll tell you all this bullcrap. Yeah, I bet you would. You're telling me everything I need to do, but I'd love to see you in my shoes and doing what I'm having to do. Another thing, I was talking about the other day is seeing these guys that are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to pay that attorney and these court fees. Mm-hmm. And then because they're out there busting their ass to provide for their children, then when they go to court, you think that's going to look good on you? You ain't spending no time with your kids.
Yeah.
It's meant to just, again, keep that thumb down on you. That message needs to get loud. I'll tell you, dude, like if you get a little bit into the weeds and you find some of these other fathers that are going through it, they're on board with this. There's people that are just dying to see this thing take off.
Right. But they don't want to be the ones to do it, though. They don't want to take that next step. They don't want to get involved, or they're afraid to get involved. There's the two. I mean, even on my little platform that I used to have, I was like, guys, I'll be the face of it. I don't care. I'm out of the system. Hell, I'm getting paid child support. I'll be the face. I'll go down to Austin. I'll go wherever. Y'all need to send me. I mean, I need to know that I've got 1 million guys behind me and guys and girls that are willing to fight for it. People wouldn't step up.
Like I said, I can understand it to an extent, especially like with the whole affirmation and stuff like that. Dude, that is a dangerous movement. I don't know. Wipe out your preconceived notions that you got in there. I am telling you, I've seen it up close. It is coming and it's going to rock like a hurricane. And a lot of people are just afraid. You know who else was afraid, Dwayne? Me. Dude, when Younger was going through that, I had several other parents that was reaching out, Eric, I need your help, get this out. And I was afraid to talk about it. And I'd talk to them on the phone like, guys, man, I want to help you, but you got to understand, if I do that, I lose everything I got.
Yeah. Well, and the Twitter guy, he said one comment that wasn't affirming the whole stuff, and they canceled him.
That easy.
I get it.
Well, it's the same with allegations. Somebody can come by and with an allegation just completely erase anything you've ever done in your life.
Well, they tried it with you and me both.
Huh?
They've tried that with you and me both.
Dude, and it's gonna happen
You
a
to a
lot more.
degree. Yeah. I mean, it's and they've got no shame. They've got no. I mean, they've. You get on there and you show them, the evidence or the facts, and then they basically block you, and then they go somewhere else and say the exact same thing. I mean, the dishonesty with how far they're so ideologically messed up, they're going to do anything they can to get their point across. It's crazy.
That's why I love Walsh's movie. He would ask
Yeah.
him simple questions, and the definitions just kept going in. Yes, what was it? Do you know what a circular definition is? It's kind of like
Yeah.
what you're doing right now. They could not answer
It's over.
right? I have to just reinforce. I need confirmation bias. I think social media has really made that bad though too, because it doesn't matter how extreme of a view you've got nowadays. There's people that'll back you up.
Oh yeah. Oh, in a heartbeat.
Oh
In
yeah.
a heartbeat. Well, there was the fifth grade science teacher on Phil's TV show. He was not affirming the ideologies of the gender, this, that, and the other. He's like, guys, it's basic biology. X chromosome, XY chromosome. If they have it, this is what happens. They was talking about menstrual bleeding and all that stuff, and they were pushing back and just going nuts on him, and they're using every tactic, shaming him. He's a bigot. He's a hateful person. He's like, guys, it's basic biology. I mean, the stuff that we learned in fourth grade is ridiculous.
And they can't even have a conversation about it.
Oh, no.
They immediately cancel. You got to cancel. I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong or try to find a middle ground with you. You're out. You either believe the way we do or we're out. And all right, I am going to bring up some politics right now because the left talks about how like the right was dictators and stuff like that. What the hell do you call saying this is the way it is? And if you don't say what I want, you're canceled. You're out.
Yeah.
Is that not dictating?
Well, when they were yelling at Younger that he was a fascist, I'm like,
a deadbeat dad. He spent $1.5 million. He is sitting there with a group of extremists, like hundreds of people, and he's not letting you intimidate him at all. And that's a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, he's a fascist, deadbeat, blah blah. And you're just going, you got nothing. I mean, how do you even reason with that? How you can't? When you
we need to get some support for that guy, dude.
Oh,
I know he's got some, but he needs a lot more. I don't know how he's keeping his head on his shoulders. I honestly don't, but he handles it.
He needs everyone to rally around him.
He does, man.
I don't know how. I mean, Younger is a great guy. He's a better man than I'll ever pretend to be. I don't know how the hell he does it with what he's been through.
Smart.
I have no idea.
I got to sneak off for a few minutes. I just got back from Texas last week, guys. There was reenactments done for the Alec Larson, Sophia Larson movie. Dude, that was something else we haven't talked about, but it was amazing. We had actual actors out there doing reenactments and stuff. That thing is going to be over the edge. Some of those guys have been on network TV, some of those actors that was in it, and they said, this is better than anything we've ever done, quality-wise.
Wow.
Be waiting for that one to come out. But while I was there, I got to sneak off for about an hour that night, and Younger was speaking at a church. And I heard him talk about Title 4D in a way I've never heard anybody do it. And it was like 15 seconds. I was like, that's it. It was easily digestible. It was easily understandable. And I got to get a clip of that for everybody to hear. But I would definitely be checking out because that guy knows the system inside and out. He does.
Sadly, he's had to. Yeah. They have went. I mean, his own party went after him. His own supposed party.
The same way that I say some of these guys went pro se and it was horrible to watch. I went into some of those court watching meetings with Younger's case and saw his attorneys, and that was even more painful.
You try to figure out which side they're on.
Yeah, he went pro se, and it was 10 times better. It made no difference. It made no difference, but he represented himself so much better than those attorneys were. They were really actually hurting him. So he was another father that armed himself with the knowledge. But as we said, there's exceptions to that. That doesn't mean you're going to necessarily win. But imagine if those tens of thousands of dollars that you spent on results that were no different, you would have never gave an attorney to keep the system going the way it is.
Right.
So
It's mitigating. I mean, you're mitigating the damage. Looks like Mark's pushed out the bill numbers there in the comments for the California stuff that's going on. Yeah, I God, I couldn't even be in California. Of course, California, they're moving here to Texas, but then they're bringing all the failed ideas here.
it's crazy. It's like we know our state. We don't want to be in it anymore, so we go to Texas and we go near Austin and we make it everything that California was.
It's not even Austin. It's Dallas.
Oh yeah, dude. Dallas.
Fort Worth is close.
Just from the first couple of times I went there a couple of years ago, I have seen an extreme transformation. It's getting pretty
Scary.
bad. It is
Downright scary. I mean, and when the political run through comes again here, it's going to get bad again.
Yep.
I'm at the point where I don't even want to leave my house.
I can understand it, man. Do not stay near Love Field Airport.
Oh, do not stay anywhere around Love Field. Yeah.
It sounds like useless information, but if you ever go there, it's very useful.
Yes.
Sarah Bell said, yes, as soon as we fired our lawyer and filed bankruptcy, our court case ended. There wasn't any more money to be had. My husband represented himself instead. That's kind of a telltale sign.
Shocker. Yeah.
Mark Kennedy said in 10 years, buy a female robot.
You know what? I was watching a documentary on that, and the technology is moving at breakneck speed in that area.
Can you see the appeal behind it?
I mean, yeah.
It sounds crazy. It really does sound crazy. But I can see, I've talked to several of the men that are still single and in the dating pool, and they're afraid to make a move on a woman. Women want a guy to be confident and, aggressive and come after them and take the first move. They don't want to make the first move anymore. And you know why? Because the culture created that. They're literally scared to get around some of you ladies.
Yeah.
And they have every reason to be that way.
Well, they had an article. This lady was sitting there whining about how she can't find any good. Oh, the only good men she can find are conservative men. She wants to find a liberal guy that holds a door open for her, pays for everything, treats her well, will fix stuff, all the traditional guy things. But she's mad because she can't find a liberal guy that will be that way.
Mr. Birdmender, he said, I remember Robert Garza did some interviews of guys talking about what they were going through. I started doing videos on Facebook to bring awareness. What about a project where we get hundreds of dads, women, and grandparents to give them their story under 60 seconds of flooding social media? Just an idea. So it's crazy, Jason. I've actually been doing that lately on Twitter. If you haven't been over there, because you just retweeted. So a lot of these guys have been coming on there, seeing some of the memes and stuff and saying, well, this is what happened in my case. And if I see it, I just hit the retweet and it's popping up on the Dad Talk Today page. So if you scroll down that wall, you'll see all these stories of people that are going through family law battles. And I would encourage you, get over there, put your story on there, and I will retweet it because I can do that there when free speech is allowed. So.
And maybe it's something for Substack or something like that. It's been talked about on numerous platforms before, different groups and stuff doing that. It's just participation, getting people to actually do that, even anonymously. Getting the stories out there. But then it gets into that. Okay, so the stories are out there. What can people do with it?
Well, one of the reasons, so the stories are powerful, and it's in how they're used. I will agree with Jason. It needs to be in like a 60-second format. I mean, look at Glenn Terry. Glenn had a story where his child ended up getting killed. We did it in 9 minutes. And that was going there and doing a mini documentary. If you guys can learn to condense your story, get it out. And what happens is all these dads start saying, this is my experience. This is my experience. This is my experience. And when that floods social media, that will have, look at the Me Too movement. That's all the Me Too movement was.
Yeah.
They started hashtagging Me Too. Here's my story. Next thing you know, look what it's done. I mean, honestly, now some of those stories might be true and I'm 100% behind it, but dads can do the same thing and say, this is what I'm going through because people think you don't exist.
Yeah.
If you are a father that went through family law or you're not able to see your kids right now, it's because you didn't try hard enough. You didn't fight hard enough. You didn't want anything to do with your kids. You were probably abusive and everything. You are a deadbeat. They don't even wait to hear the details of your case.
Oh, no.
They don't give them a
Everybody
chance.
white-knighted it. Yeah.
Here's my story. Now, you don't sit there and just live off of that one thing. Get it out there and then help other people get out their stories. If somebody retweets your story, you retweet theirs and help the platforms that do it. And then your voice becomes bigger.
Yeah. Get on Dad Talk Today support group. Get in there. Help people out. Tell your story. Listen to other people's story. Yeah, I'll stop there on the Dad Talk Today support group.
I know it's hard because if you've been through family law, you
It's
hear
raw.
these people's story and you're hearing your story. A lot of times these guys
Yeah.
are hearing their story replayed and we realize how similar we are. We
Right.
need to realize we're not doing that just to, in vain. We're doing that to fight against culture and to say us too.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, again,
us too. What's going on?
there was a thing about a month or two ago where some lady get on there and said that men get preferential treatment in child custody cases.
Oh, I hear that one a lot.
Yeah. And, I've responded to that one. There should have been 10 million other people responding to that one. But, but they felt confident enough to put that out there for people to see and hear. We need the movement, the group to go out there and squelch that nonsense and put their story out. Have people start hearing, oh, this does happen. I mean, we're being told today, actually when I looked for that, the one story about the LG TV and all that fun stuff, I was trying to find, examples of how they are harming children and they're being squashed. Because I know they're out there in other media
Hard
formats.
to find.
Yeah, they actively delete them. So then the average Joe who doesn't spend that kind of time goes, oh, well, I guess they're trying to stop it. Because, okay, so everyone knows Tucker Carlson, whether you like him, hate him, whatever.
I was just about to bring him up, dude.
He got let go from Fox News and started his own thing on Twitter.
Right.
Before I tell you the number, the Washington Post came out and said, or was it Wall Street or one of the larger news things says that Tucker's fell flat on his face with his new platform. This guy at the time. Yeah, at the time it was 65 million views. It's over 100 million views at this point.
Over
That's falling on your
110.
face. It's
And I would
110
like
million.
to say, Tucker's #1 record on that platform with Fox News, the all-time viewers was 4.5 million. He comes out and goes independent and does 110 million views. That's over 20 times his best show at Fox News. Do they feel threatened? Yeah. But he's putting out information there that he never did when he was at Fox.
Wasn't allowed to.
I was not a Tucker fan in the beginning. I'll be the first one to tell you I wasn't.
Right.
Over the years, he's grown on me. Again, another guy. Do I agree with everything he says? No. But he's got balls, dude. He's got balls, and he had to know that Fox was going to come after him. But it just shows the power of that independent media. I'll give you another one. Matt Walsh made What Is a Woman? All these different platforms tried to cancel the guy. Well, so he goes to put it on Twitter, and then it got censored. And he started tagging Elon, which, dude, I'm liking Musk more and more every day.
Yeah.
Because Musk came back and was like, undo that. And then he went and retweeted the damn thing, and they put it for free on Twitter, which it got, I forget how many million.
It's a lot of zeros.
But that was one documentary that was talking about the issues. I have like 8 documentaries in production right now. Could you imagine if fathers did the same process that they did with What Is a Woman with these documentaries? Because the whole thing that I'm doing with those is to make sure that the system gets exposed and shows all the loopholes, every one of the conversations that they try to fight back with us anytime you speak. It addresses all of those. We could do the same exact thing, Dwayne. And that's why that media is so important. It's fighting that culture. Yeah,
the whole thing is that the media, the traditional media, they are scared. They're going to do everything, including lying, to try to change the narrative. That's why we need people to push back and say, or at the very least, lift the hood on what you're seeing and look at least one layer down and see what's really going on. Because I'm sure that who knows how many of the Washington Post or New York, whoever it was, that said they fell flat on his face. If they just would have clicked on a link and said, well, I wonder what fall on your face means, and saw 65 million, 110 million views, went, that's falling on your face? That's not right.
Well, and I want to say Tucker was getting paid like 10 million or something like that a year. Could you imagine if he started a subscription base for people that are watching that off of the millions of followers that he's got? It was peanuts compared to what his value actually is. But people want to hear it because he's not afraid to say what he's saying.
Right.
And that goes a long way. I do want to bring up a few more of these comments.
Yeah.
Mr. Nicholas Gonzalez, he said, it's all a sham. They're all connected. That's why the entire system has to fall. Each state gets kickback from the government to the tune of 75 cents to every dollar we pay. They do get money, Nick. I just wanted to say, I don't believe it's 75 cents.
66 cents for every dollar spent in collections. But then there was also the grants. There was the bonus checks. There's the cottage industry, the billions of lawyers and all that junk. It's
really hard to put the amount on it. I always, when I talk about Title 40, I just say, look, man, the states are getting money from the federal government that's been incentivized off of child support. Bam, done. Because you ain't going to come back and say, well, you were 5 cents off. You know what? They're making money off of it. That's all you need to tell people. How are they making a dime of money off of your family's misery, dude? And that's what they do. Yeah. And that's what they do to you dads, man.
I mean, Texas has a program called POPS or PAPA, parental awareness, where they teach high school kids that guys, their job is to go on child support. Women's jobs are to put men on child support, and you have to get attorneys. If that's not indoctrination, I don't know what is. Oh, God, I'm sorry. It's a decade worth of information here.
Well, it's just like that with Tucker, dude. Like you're talking about that article. Most people thinking people probably went and looked, did he fall flat on his face? But the people that never went and did their homework, they're thinking that was the truth. And that's how the misinformation gets out there. Now, I want to bring that back to this movement. How many TV shows in the classroom, video games now, Call of Duty, how much of this stuff is being put towards your kids? And that might be the only part they see about it. And if we're not having conversations with our kids, they are getting fed that same misinformation. And then what happens when you finally do speak and you find out like, hey, maybe I found out a little late, but this is becoming a problem here.
Done.
Oh, no, you're misinformed. You're just hatred. You're a bigot. You've got all the phobias. You got all the ISTs, all the different names.
Yeah. And we've allowed it to happen. I mean, the whole, we have collectively have sat back and just kind of really watched this happen. I mean, the indoctrination. I got into a discussion with my son and his girlfriend about these topics this special month and the book banning. And she actually brought up a book that was that should just be perfectly fine. I said, well, did you go to page 20? Did you go to page 35? And I quoted the stuff, and I can't even talk about it here or show pictures, or you will get banned. But I said, did you do that? And I quoted the lines from those specific pages because I went and read the books. I did that extra layer, and she just sat there and looked at me with this look of, are you kidding me, on her face. And I'm like, now take that back and think about that. Is that what you want third graders to read? And of course,
dude, I've seen some of those books lately, and guys, it is not made up.
No,
it might not be in your city or your state yet, but that's what happens when silence takes place. Yeah. It's just because it's not there yet doesn't mean it's not coming. You got to keep your eye on these things. Eros on YouTube said, do you think it's a part of the woke culture or the cancel culture? I'll be honest with you. I think those two go hand in hand.
Both.
It's both. Both of these. Never mind. You ever heard that joke?
Which one? Sorry.
Knock.
Who's there?
Bofa.
Bofa who?
Both of these nuts.
Ah!
All right, we need to
gotta laugh at some of this stuff. For Eros, it is woke and cancel. It's both, and we went from, and again, I guess talking to the older folks here that can hopefully see this. So I'll pick on music. So you go back to the 50s and 60s. And when they told Elvis Presley he wasn't allowed, and then again, you're an Elvis buff, so you can confirm or deny this, that he wasn't allowed to shake his pelvis on TV. That was, a big to do. And then, now we have them simulating acts of pleasure on stage. And what it was a slow erosion of society that got us there. That's what they're doing with this stuff, is slowly. Yeah, because with this whole movement, and I'm not talking about the equal share parenting, but the whole other movement in the 80s, if you go back and you watch movies and TV shows and you watched how they changed, how they did this through media, that first it was they were like, ew, and then it became make fun of them, and then it became a slow acceptance, and now look where we're at. Again, am I talking to nobody here? That's how this works.
No, it's just as you're saying that. Have you noticed? I was looking through the screen. It almost looks like you got a rainbow shirt on.
Oh, my vintage Dallas shirt, my Voltron red, yellow, blue.
Mr. Father X, he said it hasn't happened because 50 states have the wrong incentive. Based on the Fed pay and child support matching funds, you change the federal funding rules, you change the 50 states' behaviors.
No. Sorry. I'll pick on Texas. Texas got fined $40 million or $70 million because with Title IV-E, which is the funds for CPS and all that stuff, they had a program where they were getting money to make sure as the Kids Back Home or whatever program, where they would get federal funds to ensure children stayed in good homes, like so they wouldn't they have them where they wouldn't remove children from the houses. But Texas went, you know what? We make more money removing kids from houses that we're going to go that. And they got fined a buttload of money, lost the court case and everything. But all they care about is the money. So, I mean, and they're not going to change. The thing is, they're not going to change the incentives. This is our history at this point.
It's not up to our legislators to create change. It's up to us, guys.
Yeah.
We keep trying to tell people they've got the ability to create change for us. We're the voters. We are the people. We're the ones that's got to make the example. If you keep trying to convince these people to take money out of their pocket, it's insane. Because while you might have one rule pass over here, look at what just happened in California. It's one thing happens over here while you're bending over here, and you don't even realize what's coming behind you.
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell you, it doesn't feel good when it goes in.
Yeah, I mean, Texas passed the expanded standard a couple years ago, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, we're so much closer. No, because when you go in and you demand expanded standard, they use that as a change of custody to then give you standard. These guys, they're all in on this. Every single one of them are in on this. I don't know how else to explain that to people. Their goal is to destroy the family. Everything they say and do is to that end.
I don't want to make up a statistic because I can't say that right off. Again, I talked to that attorney not long ago. He's like, Eric, you're pretty hard on attorneys. And I was like, yeah, but it's most attorneys. I was like, I know there is some good ones. It's the same with your legislators. There is very few that actually get into office. There's a lot that are in the political scene that are trying to get into office. But even dude, look what's going on between Paxton and Abbott and all them right now. I know he's a hated guy in the movement. Trust me. I've talked to Ken about this. Yeah. At the same time, while people are looking at that, it's like, do you know what's going on with Dade Feeling? The one that was creating all this showed up drunk. And I mean, he was making sure that these bills weren't going through. Yeah. He had that type of power, guys, and his opponent is on the same side of the aisle. Our political system is completely messed up. I don't care who you get into office right now. Honestly, they're all birds of the same feather.
We try to get Jeff Younger in. He said, "Hey, look, I can't get any relief through the courts. You know what? I'm going to run for office and change the laws." His own party spent millions of dollars on his Republican competitor to make sure he didn't get in. If you honestly think that your party means anything to you, then you believe the stripper likes you.
But the people that's running against him are obviously fighting for the issues that affect Jeff, right?
Right. Yeah.
Love for country.
Uh,
Yes. In my experience, mothers go into custody hearings with 100% custody. It's up to the fathers to fight for at least 50-50 until that culture changes. Fathers are screwed. I am going to disagree. It's not in your experience. It's all of our experience. They go in there with 100% custody. They have rights upon that child being born. Fathers, you have nothing. You have to prove that you are a good father. You have to go and get the lawyer. You got to go get the paternity test. You got to, everything is, the burden is on you.
Yeah.
100% on you. The
And I will
bias
say-
is against you.
Yeah, and I will say for the ladies, as the pendulum is swinging because guys are checking out, we're not getting the higher income jobs. All they care about is money. So, ladies, if you're the higher income earner, guess what? It's going to be you one day.
We've seen that with some of the celebrity women.
It happens. Yeah, they don't care about guy girl. They care about money, and traditionally the guy makes more money, which is why it's the way it is. When women make more money, it's going to be them.
Or if other things don't happen,
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up.
Oh, he's going for it.
I think this is going to end up becoming the case before too long at how crazy things have gotten. And I mean, we've talked about this before, but
I was telling my wife, I don't know how crazy it's going to get because every time I think they've pushed it to the limit, people come out and surprise me.
Hunnish dad legally changes gender to
Oh.
female to bid to gain custody of his kids.
Yeah.
Renee Salinas Ramos, 47 years old, now listed as a female in official documents in Ecuador. This goes in Ecuador, guys. He had to do this in Ecuador, not the United States of America. We had the father on not long ago that was from Guyana. This is not just an American problem. That's another place that I think the movement has got it wrong. We need to create a worldwide alliance. I mean, dude, when
You've been trying.
24-hour difference with Australia and talking to people from Japan and stuff, and it's I mean, it's just sitting there waiting for it to happen, dude. But getting back on subject, what that father did, I believe you're going to see more of that. I'm surprised you haven't seen more of that already. And
I would have done it.
who's going to win that in family court, the mother or him or her, whatever the pronouns are?
Yeah, whatever.
Who's going to win that in court?
I would just say whoever makes more money or wherever the court's going to make more money, that's probably who'll end up winning. But who knows?
I would usually say that. Say that. But that
Is it-
movement is so strong. Are they going to go against? Are they going to go against the ideology?
Yeah, you know what? Because California, they're trying to pass a bill that blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you know, it's a good point. Yeah, I would say now change your mark your thing to the other gender and you're going through and whatever, and you'll get custody.
So people was talking about solutions. Go back to the Aerosmith song. Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah. They used to make fun. I mean, we used to it was comedy back in the 80s and 90s. And now look where we're at. I mean, you go back and you watch TV shows and movies from that era, and you're going to go, whoa, that would never pass today. Wow, I can't believe they're doing that. I mean, go back and watch Delirious. Go, if you get a chance, Eddie Murphy, Delirious. That would never one fly today. Two, that just shows what's the culture shift.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura,
Captain
yeah.
Winfield.
Oh, God.
Ace Ventura. It's Pat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
but dude, I mean, my daughter,
Saturday
I was
Night Live.
telling her, I won the band that got me into rock and roll, and rock and roll is such a huge part of my life. I love it. But the band that really got me into rock and roll, because I grew up in the South where country was the thing. But the first time I heard Aerosmith, it just blew my mind, dude. They are on their retirement tour, which a lot of the bands that we grew up with are right now, which breaks my heart. I have always wanted to see them live ever since before I was even a teenager. Dude, I looked up tickets for Aerosmith. The tickets up in the nosebleed section behind the stage where you can't even see them. You know how much they cost?
Probably a couple thousand.
$750.
Woo.
To be in the pit, you're talking about like thousands, or to even get a seat where you're gonna be able to see him. But I was talking about like how brokenhearted I was that I wasn't gonna be able to see Aerosmith because I damn sure ain't paying that.
Brandy has seen Aerosmith something like 10 or 15 times. She's a huge Aerosmith fan.
Every once in a while, like when we're in the car, I go on YouTube and I educate my kids on good music. And like a good father, responsible father should. We're going through the Aerosmith playlist, and I saw "Dude Looks Like a Lady." I was like, I wonder if they're playing that at the concert.
Quick.
That would be interesting to find out.
They probably they probably have to have that. Remember, like, was it in the early 2000s when like the Tom and Jerry cartoons got reintroduced? They had to put that little disclaimer at the bottom that it was at a different time, and they had to change this, and it wasn't permissible, and all this other stuff. I don't know. They probably, I'm sure, what's his name will have to come out and make some disclaimer or something. It's just, God, it's just insane. And again, it's we've got to get people standing up. I mean, boycotting, saying we're not going to take it. Back to Twisted Sister. Boycott. I mean, you find out. I mean, hopefully no one's drinking the Bud Lights. No one's going to Target. No, I mean, find out. And it's not just Bud Light. It's all of Anheuser-Busch or the German company that they became like 20 years ago. And send a message. That's how guys and girls that are sympathetic to the movement, that's how they can make change in the pocketbook.
On that one issue, I still just wish, with the family courts and with dads, what does it say that this whole month is dedicated behind that in the same month as Father's Day?
Yeah.
In the same month as Father, we are going to overshadow it again. You can have a whole month for that, but dads are going to get to go to McDonald's here on one of these weekends coming up. Are you serious? Dude, why don't we start a petition for a men's appreciation month or something? I think it should happen.
We should.
I think it should happen. I mean, I think everybody should be celebrated because that's what makes the world beautiful.
Yeah.
But if they're just going to keep putting these, segmented things out there, a Father's Appreciation Month or a Men's Appreciation Month, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, deletion awareness. Dude, 75 to 80, I was reading % of the deletions are male.
Oh, yeah.
But remember how that culture goes. Happy wife, happy life. Well, the reason, and that might seem like a joke to some, but those little narratives have consequences. What does it say when you don't even mention a man's happiness, but 75 to 80% of these people who probably are doing this out of unhappiness and depression.
Right.
It's everything that adds up that pushes it to where we've got it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they feel alone and they got nowhere to go. Yeah, they did it for Mother's Day as well, but I don't know if you've received like emails to opt out of receiving messages about Mother's Day or Father's Day. Have you received any of those?
Mm-mm.
I get things. Trying to think of the company that sent this out, but they said if you don't want to receive anything about Father's Day, the most recent one, you can opt out of it, which I think is stupid because you're telling me about Father's Day. Do I want to opt out? Well, now I'm aware of it because it's too sensitive for me or something.
So I've gotten almost labeled as an extremist because of the way that I talk about fathers. And to do it like I'm doing it, I have to be a misogynist. I have to hate women.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such bull crap, dude.
Can you put your left hand up real quick?
Huh?
Can you put your left hand up and move it towards the camera? What's that thing on your finger? What? Oh, you're married? What? A misogynist, bigoted,
My pride and joy.
deck.
My pride and joy. But and that don't make me a simp. That means I just got in one that has done really well for me. Trust me, I gotten plenty of other ones that made me be the host on Dad Talk.
Exactly. But you know what? Your wife and my wife both said, get off your ass and get out there and do it.
But I'm going to say it sucks so bad, dude, because I mean, I appreciate women and what they do, especially the ones that stand up for us and see our role. And I think we could be on the same page. Feminism has been about superiority. All the ones saying, I don't need a man. Ladies, you wouldn't have been born if your mama hadn't found a man. You just wouldn't. You want to have kids? You ain't going to have them without a man. Well, you want a donor? Well, guess what? That came from a man.
Exactly. Well, and we saw the results of not having men over there in Europe earlier this week. There was a gentleman that decided to take a cutting utensil and start hacking people. And all the people were saying, where are the men at? Where are the men at? It's like, well, no, we're not stepping in the way anymore, because I go back to the poor guy in New York. He was retired military, and there was some guy losing his business on Subway, and he put him in stranglehold. Unfortunately, the guy did pass away from those from being restrained like that, and they were wanting to put him in jail for 10 years for being a good Samaritan.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, in the olden days, I'm like, I'm going to, I'm going to defend women. I'm going to do this. I'm going to defend my wife and my kids. That's it. I'm not going to go out of my way because of what will come back at me. And unfortunately, third wave feminism and the way society is today, I'd be crazy to do something.
Can we put some heat on the simps right now?
Oh God, get me started on the Sims.
Dude, the simps, dude. I mean, go back and watch Caleb Leverett's video with the Permian football Peter Griffin in the background.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the guys have called this too, dude. I mean, when I talk about the narrative being pushed back and the deadbeat dad and stuff, a lot of that comes from dads.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I always catch them with when they automatically just go to degrading fathers, if they're a father themselves, I'm like, I'm glad to know that's your thoughts on fatherhood. It's just, so that's what you think of your relationship with your kids. Oh, you're the exception. Oh, Mighty Mouse is the exception. But that's your thoughts on fatherhood. The first time that something is mentioned about dads, that's the only thing that you can say.
Yeah.
These guys have been completely poisoned and brainwashed, dude. And they think somehow that they're like protecting or helping by doing what they're doing.
And I'm seeing it actually with my kids, but I'm seeing it overall. I mean, with the younger generation and how they're acting, the simpness is just is ridiculous. They happy wife, happy life. That their brains, that's how it's programmed. It's like, no, happy spouse, happy house, figure it out. And they're not wanting, they just want to be left alone or whatever. So they basically buy into this ideology and they start, repeating it. Yeah. I mean, having a father sit there and talk smack about another dad that doesn't deserve it. That just shows what the media and society has done to men. I mean, we used to be the men. We used to be able to stand up, and we were the ones that no matter what happened, we got stuff done. Not anymore. And what's funny is these women are like, well, we're all the good men. You're the ones that beat it out of us. I mean, do you not see that?
Let them men stop building them buildings. Let them stop building the roads. Let them stop building cars. Let them say, I mean, I hate to say it. You don't think you need a man? There's more ways than just being in a relationship, Cupcake. Men are doing lots of things that you take advantage of every single day. And at the same token, women are doing that for us too. Okay. Yeah. We recognize that. That's not a sexist statement. That's just stating the obvious. But the reason that we can be in this country and we can get on and say the things that we do is because men went and fought wars for us to be able to do so. Yeah. And guess what? Those men that are doing that now get shit on every single day inside of the courts for going and fighting for our country when they come back. And some of these women are doing the things that they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with a smile on their face. Well, again, I've got people that hate my guts, I'm extreme, blah, blah, blah. And they're taking the free phones, the free this, all this free government crap. And I'm like, who do you think pays for it? Me. I pay for it. My taxes, they're stealing from me every month. The reason is I can't do this or do that. I'm paying all this money. You're taking, and then on top of that, instead of, I don't even want to thank you out of you. You hate me for it.
But you're hurting people's feelings.
I know I'm hurting their feelings.
That's one of my favorite parts of What is a Woman, the old man. And he's like, well, what about people's feelings? He's like, I don't give a shit about people's feelings. I'm old.
Yeah.
That was like, dude. Old grandpa, he can put it out there the way that it needs to be put, man. I ain't worried about your feelings. And you know what? Too many people are worried about their feelings. You're going to have hurt feelings. You're going to be offended. Dude, have we ever had a generation that's so offended?
Oh my gosh. And that stops the conversation. I'm offended. I don't give a shit. How's that?
Well, and again, we live in an imperfect world with people that have imperfections that make mistakes every single day. you know, a little trend I've been watching on social media. It doesn't matter if you're famous or whatever. People, you could do 1,000 things right. I saw a quote that was by, they say it was by Albert Einstein. That came back to got a fact checker on it. I don't care. It was a great quote. He was talking about his nine times tables. And he went all the way up and he did all of them right until it got to like 11 and he was like 98.
Right.
And then he started counting off. And everybody started saying, hey, man, you did that wrong. You did that wrong.
Mhm.
He's like, you realize the only one you guys commented on was the one I did wrong. And you never gave me any credit for all the ones I got right.
Yeah.
And that
That
is
is-
in a nutshell, dude.
Yep.
And when you go to family court, it's going to be that one times table you missed. That's going to become the conversation to say that, you know what, your child doesn't need a dad. You need to be a visitor and you need to pay
Yeah.
up for it.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, yeah, you do so many things right, but if you goof up one time, and again, these are small goof ups, not, you know, oh, I accidentally hit my kids or something like that.
No.
And then they're taken away from you and you can never see them, or you have to do, you know, pay $1,000 a week just to see your own kids and the nonsense they do there. And people in and out of the movement love doing that. I mean, you know, go back.
I mean, it's just like one of the people that I hear from the most that, you know, like you go to the hood, dude. And a lot of those fathers like, dude, you know, when I was a teenager, when I was 18, 20 years old, I got caught with a joint. I spent a little bit of time in jail, but I've got out. I can't get a job. It's used against me all the time. They may be 30, 40 years old, you know,
Mhm.
and it's like their past mistakes is what's used to predict their future. And nobody looks at it anymore. I'd say the same thing for, you know, like our veterans.
Mhm.
Like, look at what they're doing for us overseas and they come back over here. None of their experiences looked at
Oh, no. Well, it's looked at negatively. Yeah.
negatively. Absolutely. But all right, I'm gonna get to some of these comments. We got the comments flooding on here.
Yeah. It's getting coming too.
Mr. Lauren Jackson, been a great supporter of us. He said, once I get through my retainer, I'll be going pro se. I don't get phone calls back, don't get messages back, keep getting strung along. And this is by a firm most of us dads approve of. I'm tired. Oh, you know, this is one of the most common things that I hear is people paying retainers.
Mhm.
They'll meet with you. They'll talk about your whole case and tell you how much they're going to do. But once the money, the retainer gets in there, you can never get them on the telephone again.
Yep. Yeah. The part that well, I know we probably don't want to say names, but it's one that the dads approved of. I'll pretty much say that there may be one, maybe two that I would lean towards, but all in all, I would say, well, at least this dad wouldn't approve of any of the law firms because they're all the same.
I don't know who he's talking about, but
Yeah.
I just say, you know, like I know there's some good ones out there. Very few. This is
Very
a
few.
common problem. Guys
Oh, yeah.
paying that retainer and then they can't get the attorney on there. And look, dude, these retainers can be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Oh, yeah.
That could be everything that father's got. And he could scratch, claw, mortgage, sell cars or something just to be able to get that retainer. And so then he can't get you on after he's paid that. They know he's not just going to pull away and go anywhere because he gave you everything he's got.
Yeah.
They got the laws on you.
Yeah. It's like when you're involved in a scam, they say, hey, for, you know, pay us $50 and we'll get your puppy to you at the airport. So you pay the $50, not realizing it's a scam. And then oh, well, there was something with this fee, so you need to pay that. And you just keep paying more and more. And then when they drain you, and again, the first thing they ask for is your financial statement. So they know exactly how much money and how much credit you have. And magically that becomes the number to represent you. I mean, guys, it's not that hard.
Mr. Ricardo said that's one good idea. I aware everyone that lawyers are not working for you. They are working for the same circus that's ruining the show. They just want your money, you know, and it is sad. We have to caveat. There are some good attorneys, but any good attorney that would get offended or say that what we're saying is not true, it would be very hard to put good beside your name.
Well, who was it that asked? They said you need to ask your law firm one question when you're trying to hire them. Have you ever reported another attorney or judge for doing something wrong? And if they say no, leave.
How many times have you seen parental alienation? How many times have you seen connections between? Because I've heard from attorneys that say, I've never seen this. I've never seen any political favor or anything like that. That right there should be one of your first red flags.
Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't find the red flags dealing with your ex. Find this red flag and get the hell out.
Who are you taking up for?
Well, if you look at the attorney credo, and I used to have it on my site, but the attorney's first duty is to the courts. That's their first duty, not to you, to the courts and their own pocketbook.
He also followed up, Idaho student prevented from walking at graduation after asserting men and women are different.
Yep.
I haven't heard from that dude.
They had a lady that she submitted her thesis or whatever, and she put in there something about biological men, and she received a 0. And the professor said it was a great article, but this would offend somebody. You get a 0.
Dude,
Guys, it's here. It's here.
Esquibel's putting the numbers in. I appreciate it, Mark. He said 170 million views for What is a Woman. Tucker blowing up Twitter as well. We are making a huge dent. Dude, 170 million on a documentary. Guys, that's half of the United States. What are we, like 360 or somewhere million here in the That's half of the freaking United States. If you took some of the media, that's why my focus has been on the media lately. If you took some of that and got it out there, I stand with John. God, it's not a huge production. It was a huge production for us because it took us scratching and clawing to get it made. Mm-hmm. But that thing goes through every little incident that somebody could go through in family court when it comes to CPS, false allegation, custody exchange, murder, parental alienation, blah, 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 blah. It's all in there. These little pieces of media, when they're put together in a way that's not going to bore people, that's not going to make them click off. You got a very short attention spans nowadays. You can't tell me that 170 million views for that documentary isn't going to make a difference. It's not going to make a culture shift. We're already seeing it. For the first time, people are pushing back.
Why do you think Bud Light happened?
Oh, exactly.
I mean, there are people that watched it.
It's shitty beer for one. Like, I don't really drink, but I remember it tasted like piss, man. I mean, how did I know what piss tastes like? But
it sounded like I got strained through somebody that drank good beer.
Dude, when I did drink, or if I do have a beer occasionally, it's got to be European beer. I like the Heine.
Heine? Oh, okay. I thought we were shifting the conversation. I like the Heine too.
Stella Artois. Now we're talking about Heine, and then it's calling out Stella Artois. Okay. Not a woman named Stella, but I think doesn't Stella fall under the Anheuser-Busch?
I don't know. That's that whole thing where you have to find out who's under that umbrella, and
that's why somebody says I am boycotting Facebook. Catch me on Instagram. It's owned by Facebook.
Yeah, it's one of those bump situations. Yeah, it would be great to see. I mean, it would warm this old fart's heart if we were to get the people out there to start boycotting with their checkbooks. I mean, and the thing is the other side has done that to us for years, because if a company comes out, I'll just say a cake making company comes out and says something, they swarm and do everything they can to destroy them. Let's do the same thing. Boycott everyone that is against your value system.
Yep.
And see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, really, if you turn off social media, or you decide not to buy Bud Light and go to something else that tastes much better. Or go to something else completely, or stop drinking, as I'm sure Caleb would offer, or go to Walmart as opposed to Target. Quit consuming. Do we really need that much stuff?
Like this comment from Miss Sarah Bell. She said, a problem we have fighting for dad's rights is time. There's not enough time. We have my stepkids 50% of the time. My husband works full time. I'm going through cancer treatment, after work, doctor's appointments, and our family activities, church, school, scouts, dance, and piano lessons. We only have the smallest amount of time to fight such a huge battle. We find ourselves focusing on the fun stuff and pushing the difficult battle off to a different day. Sarah, you're here right now.
Yeah, I know.
That's how quick it takes to make a difference. But it takes everybody. It takes everybody getting in here, participating, and making sure the message gets out there, retweeting, sharing, or whatever, because it creates what you see with What is a Woman. What is a Woman did not get 170 million views because he just posted it and it sat there. Do you know how many tens of thousands of people shared that, and it started growing? And it was that quick for somebody to say, I'm a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Oop, that quick. And
one button.
And it starts off somewhere. A couple of years ago, Walsh was out, but he's just now starting to get it to where it is, and that starts that cataclysm, man. That's the way that you get it rolling. But that's it, dude. And it literally costs no money. And that's it. Making documentaries costs money.
Yes, it does.
Don't get me
Yeah,
started.
people want, they want bite-sized, good information, visual quality, all the different components there. And yeah, you've answered the challenge from what little I've seen of the content, because you're wanting to make the big debuts of these different documentaries. It takes a lot of time, money, effort, expertise to make these things, and we just need to have the people watch it, share it, like it, subscribe to it, all those things. Get over on Substack. It's an area where Eric can freely speak his mind. I'm actually a little shocked we haven't been canceled yet. It was just some of the things we talked about.
So, dude, our numbers are growing over there. Surprisingly, a platform that's only a couple of months old sometimes outdoes these platforms that I've had for years that have ridiculous numbers on it. So we can do that, guys. Have I been able to do as much content even on here or on there as I would like to lately? No. I spent out of the last 5 weeks, I was gone 3 of them out of town. And dude, it's nonstop. But we're building that media. It will be coming out soon, and I need everybody to support it. There's not many people that are going to sacrifice that, dude. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but we busted our butt, even just for that hospital scene that we did when I was it took me a whole week to take one little room and transform it into a hospital room, get a hospital bed, get the curtains, get the furniture and everything. I was all over Texas because I don't know where everything is. So I'm
Texas ain't small.
Second, I'm in Arlington the next second. I'm in Haltom the next, and everything's like an hour. I was just crisscrossing everywhere, but we got it done. And that was for like a minute and a half to 2 minutes of what's going to be in that video. And it took that whole week of coordinating and putting that together. And that was flying from Georgia over there, staying 5 nights, rental cars, having to buy the beds and everything. There was a lot that went into that. And I can promise you that stuff's going to be really good when it comes out. And these stories, they're going to hit. They're going to hit. A 5-year-old girl that passed away because of drinking her mom's drugs. I don't know how anybody could watch that and not get hit in the feels, dude. Or Jonathan Vanderhagen, 1.5-year-old baby boy dies and he's put in jail for speaking out about it. Those stories are going to hit, and it's about time that we do it. Now, I'm thinking of other ways that I can make little bits of information, 3 to 5 to 10-minute videos, like mini documentaries, because I could get more of those out, and they're a lot easy to share.
Right.
I got to scale it. I just wish we could get everybody over there, man, because
we got to look at the feedback that you're getting.
I haven't pushed the Substack as hard as I'm going to be. It's coming.
Well, think about what happened to Walsh with what is a woman, and all the pushback he got. He got canceled on various platforms. He had to do all these different things. For the community here, when Eric comes out with this stuff, get ready. I would go over to Substack now, and so he can see the numbers, see the support there, and go, okay, I'm going to make the switch over there, because when these come out, you're going to get some pushback. It's not butterflies and unicorns. It's going to be in your face stuff.
Dude, we had people getting in my camera guys' faces, and people like sneaking around and taking pictures of us at the Texas Capitol, wanting to know what we were doing. What movie are you making? Like, really angry. I know going into this, what happens? Assassination of character. You don't know who this guy is. This is what's going on. They're hateful. They're misogynist. They're racist. They're homophobic. They're transphobic. They're all these things. It's coming. But I am not going to let that intimidation or that fear come after me. I know what I'm fighting for. I'm not a perfect human being, but I stand on what we are doing here. They rarely will, again, conversate with you about what's going on. The interactions and like the consequences of doing these things. Let me tell you who this person is.
They're on Daksha.
Oh, dude, let me look at Riley Gaines. I got to give it to you. She's a trooper right now. She stood up against that. She has been calling out female athletes, from Ronda Rousey to the ones that they made that not King Arthur. What was it? with the tennis sisters.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
Will
can't
Smith
remember
played. But
Yeah.
he's calling them all out and saying, "Hey, your silence is deafening. Are you going to speak up on this? Do you think it's okay for a male athlete to come and play?" I heard one of them ask I think it was a senator the other day. They was like, "Let me ask you a question." It was like, if Mike Tyson said that he was female and he wanted to go up against a female boxer, biological female boxer, would you think that's okay? And he was like, "Well, if they identify, then yes." I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, are you crazy?" What was funny is there was actually like a horror movie where Tyson had dressed up like a female. Could you imagine that?
I can't imagine Tyson up against a guy. I mean, this guy, the pounding. I mean, there was like I think a joke years ago about he'll give you 3 minutes or 1 minute in the ring with him. Would you do it? Hell no. I could not run from that man fast enough. I mean,
the only one that can run from
over.
him fast enough is Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, he's the one that can dance with him.
Yeah, you can run.
Well, and another way to look at that is, for the guys that want a white knight and all about the ladies and let's protect the ladies, having men in women's sports, that's it right there. I mean, if you care about ladies at all, they need to be out. I mean, God, I hate to break it to you, men are just physically stronger. It's just a fact. It's biology. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. I don't know if it's rumored or whatever, but the Canadian fires that we're having right now, wasn't it rumored that it was a all women's fire thing that was working on that and they couldn't contain it? Again, this is I don't have proof of that, but this is where all the fires. We all know about the bridge down in Florida, but it's a whole other situation that'll get me in trouble. But it's, at the end of the day, we're just physically able to do more physical stuff. It's a fact. And if you want Mike Tyson in the ring with a girl because he identifies as a woman, knock yourself, well, no pun intended, but knock yourself out. This is where we're at.
I wouldn't care what gender I was. I wouldn't want to go up against Tyson. There's just no way, dude. There's no way. But I mean, that's kind of where we went to. Now, what's that say when your daughter has to go up against that person?
Yeah.
I'm a dad of nothing but daughters. And if I saw that going on, I would be pissed because I know what that means.
Yeah.
I wrestle with my girls and stuff and tried to make them tough, but I know what their limitations are. And there is no way that's dude, Riley is a freaking class A athlete, man. And to watch her just get taken like that so easily, but also to watch her get beat up for going and trying to speak her truth.
Yeah.
By people that are identifying as women that were biological men, watching her get beat up by them and there being no consequences.
None. Yeah.
None.
I think Aaron just, I guess the rumor's true. Aaron posted here, he lives in Alberta, so he's confirming, there was women firefighters up in Canada, I guess it was Alberta area, and unfortunately they weren't able to contain a fire, and although all the smoke and all that stuff is coming down to New York and causing all kinds of problems.
I know one thing I can't contain. I got to pee. Like Forrest Gump talking to JFK, man.
I gotta pee.
Yeah. What was it JFK said to Forrest? It's like, how does it feel to be an all-American? I gotta pee.
I wonder if we could make that movie nowadays. Probably could.
Did Forrest really have anything to?
Well, I mean, he wasn't he overcame his special situation or whatever his entire life and became a success. But then there was the joke of, Jenny didn't want him while he was broke, becoming whatever. She came back. At the end, he was a millionaire.
And she had AIDS.
I think, wasn't it? I don't think it was AIDS. I think they solved the mystery. I watched some of this weird stuff, but I think she had hepatitis or something. And that's what she died from, but not AIDS. Yeah, I know most people thought because the time frame and all that, it was AIDS, but she had something I think it was hepatitis, if I remember the documentary correctly. But anyway, She came back when he was a millionaire and she had nothing. And they were equal.
And Jenny, he might have been stupid, but he knew what love was.
He did.
It was you that didn't.
That's pretty powerful because, yeah, I mean, men, we don't care what women, how much they make. We don't care where they, kind of where they came from, all that. We love women unconditionally. But with society, women love men based on what we can provide.
Well, what's that saying? Like a guy gets around his buddies and he starts dating a girl. He's like, I'm dating somebody. What's she look like? Girl gets around the other girls. What does he do?
Yeah. How much does he make? How powerful is he?
How much, and guys are tired of going through it. So, yeah, guys, I think we've exhausted that for today because Dwayne, I'm not going to let you go. I want to take this back to Instagram, but we'll just have to do it from our cell phones.
Yeah.
You guys want to follow us over there and give everybody a warm welcome. Let me tell you something. The people on one platform rarely go to another platform. I know we got a few that crossed over earlier, which is rare. But there is an active community over there like I have not seen. Dude, in the past 2 months, guys, we have gained 250,000 new followers in 2 months over there.
2 months.
And the numbers have just been going ridiculous over there. And the stories that we're seeing will blow your mind. I was very excited about today, thinking that we were going to be able to finally integrate them into this show. Because right now, if you go live over there, you have to do it from this because of the verticalness. But it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So I do want to go there and talk to them because that is a lot of people that we need to be locking arms with. And I wish we could get everybody in one central location in one place where
Substack.
Yeah, we can. Dude, when they go woke, I'm going to be pissed. I say, if they go woke and they go to the cancel culture, I've really wanted to make like a fake book with Dad Talk and just create our own like social media where people can sign up and have their own profiles and stuff. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say the parental rights, father's rights space doesn't have its
challenges.
I mean, there's some crazy people in there, dude.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes, it's not like you can just make it and not watch it. You would have to have somebody watching it 24/7.
Oh yeah. Well, I handle a lot of the Dad Talk Today support group stuff coming in, and hopefully everyone's noticed that a lot of the garbage is out of there. But some of the stuff that comes through, scary.
Well, dude, I understand memes. It's an image. It's quick. It's easy to process. So people see it. It invokes emotion, and then it's going. I use it just to keep content while I'm on the road and doing what I'm doing. I'm actually not the one posting those. But that's what's going on. But that was all I saw very early on is memes, nonstop memes.
Yeah.
We got to do a lot more than post some damn memes. And that was all that would come in that group was that or somebody trying to promote their own page or organization, and you could never just get people to join in together.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot. I mean, on the support group, there's still a decent amount of that type of stuff for fake profiles and all that, but we're getting good ones in, people asking for help. And, I'd ask the community that when someone does make one of those posts that, we do what we do best, get out there, help them or her, and, provide some assurances and let them know they're not in it alone. And, we're there to help, and when you guys need help, jump in and ask for help. But yeah,
the fake profiles have just gotten out of hand.
Oh God. Yeah. And just for anyone that's on here that's making those fake profiles or whatever, you can. There's a few key points, but it's easy to find those.
Always,
I'll tell you right now.
I like your profile picture. I like you. Send me a friend request. I block them as soon as they get in here.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, if you have certain cleavages or whatever in your first, you're gone. That's not what this is about. This is real people telling real stories, needing real help. That's why it was created.
My favorite meme. I haven't posted one in a while. This is going to make me go look at one, but is the one of the guy named Xavier.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a meme of like where one of those like fake profiles text him is like, "Hey, handsome." And he wrote her, he's like, "You're already lying. Block.
Block.
He has good comebacks. I wonder who's actually making those Xavier memes.
He's a genius. Yeah, there's
They
some
are.
memes that are just great to have, and then they tell the story, and no other way of doing it would tell the story the right way. But yeah, some of the memes that come in, you're just like, no, can't do it, can't do it. Nope.
All right, guys. I said we're going to Instagram. Let's see who follows us. I'm going to be looking
God.
out for you. You ready to do it again?
Let's do it again.
All right, guys. See you in a second.